where we weren't best pleased, but today, like, what I love about Leitrim in general, just the place, is you keep fighting, and we looked like we did the same as what we did against Wicklow there for a few minutes, and the boys kept fighting and kept going and kept battling, and Joe Marky Plunkett and Keith Burns come up with them 2 kicks at the end was just magic.
What about the changes, Andy, that you made? It's freshened the team up, I suppose, 5 players from the last day round. You must take a lot of satisfaction from them as well. I know it's a squad game and fellas made an impact from the bench, but maybe some of the changes today, the conditions probably suited as well for them. Strong, powerful players.
Yeah, I would have an issue genuinely with the schedule. It's one thing if you're a Division 1 team and you have 30 players and you have a 20 team filling into that might give you 10 or 12 players as well. Where in the likes of the Leitrims, the Carlows, the Laois, we're doing well, but like we can't just keep pushing fellas out every week and they're pulling hamstrings and hurting groins, and there's fellas hanging on there, really, really hanging on, and I think it's very tough. But you've Donny Flynn coming in there today, did a remarkable job. Don't even know he was starting until Friday night, but then even the subs that came in, they were just excellent. They were. James Rooney had a brilliant game here down under in the second half when he came on. Barry McNulty is just a joy to watch, and Young Pryor, Conor Farrell and Jack Heston just made a massive difference when they came on as well.
Must be very pleasing after, because there was a lot of criticism among fans and people, annoyance swirling around. The last 2 weeks must have been hard after Wicklow. Must be so pleasing to get that response there today.
Yeah, it was funny because what I did was, you'd always watch the opposition, and I was getting more and more depressed every time I watched the opposition. So for the last 3 or 4 days I just watched Leitrim.
Yeah.
And the message was, we're playing well here for 40-50 minutes, we just need to spread it out. We need to go for 70-77 minutes. You seen it in Wicklow, I thought we were really, really comfortable, and then all of a sudden we just stopped. And so today, at least when that little purple patch came for Laois, we responded. We went again. Pierce Dolan wins a big ball out the middle of the field first. Marky Plunkett does really well, and all the subs that came on just made a huge difference. So when we went down to 14 men, I thought the boys were brilliant.
Obviously dealing with that sort of thing, like the players would have been hearing it too. There's a lot of swearing, and I mean the people on social media and all that kind of crack going belugas about different things, and that who should be playing, who shouldn't be playing, all that sort of thing. How do you deal with that? How do you get people to centre on the performance?
Yeah, well, I have to get myself right first, to be honest with you, in terms of there's no point me if I don't believe in it. There's no point me going into a dressing room and saying you have to do this, this and this. But like, we've come in here, and like when the Mayo job came up last year, me and the county board talked, and we put another year on my contract. We know this is not going to be. If we're looking for short-term gain here, lads, it's not going to go the way we want it to go. We need to. This needs to be. If it happens in 2, if it happens in 3, if it happens in 4, it has to. You have to do the natural element of it. You see, last year Shane Quinn couldn't get a kick at the ball for us. And all of a sudden, he's nearly one of our best players this year. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's superb there again today. And like, he held in, he believed in the kind of process, stuck around, fought hard, had a great winter, and came back in a different animal. And so it might take 2 or 3 years, it might take 4, it mightn't happen in my time, but if the Leitrim people believe in it and they believe in the players, I think it will happen eventually, with or without me, to be honest.
Can I ask you, Andy, about the importance of those 2 goals out there today? The fact that you got one right at the start of the second half, and I know Laois took over after that, but at the end of the day, those goals were crucial.
Goals win games. It's so simple. Like, we got to 20 points there today. I think we got to 21, did we? Because of the 2 goals. And Pierce Dolan's goal is just ridiculous. But how well did Evan Sweeney do for the first goal? Joe Evan was playing really well. We went a different route with Tom against Carlow, and we went a different route with Marky Plunkett last week or 2 weeks ago against Wicklow. And Evan again, just that bit of experience around the group, bided his time and had an absolute superb first half.
And the role of Keith today, maybe we brought him out a little bit more, maybe into that centre half forward position as well. Was that maybe to try and get him more into the game?
Well, it's not, Jesus, what you want him to score, but no, it's not to get him more into the game. I suppose we were kind of waiting for Ryan all through the league, hoping to get Ryan back so that we'd have the 2 kind of pointers up there that we always had last year throughout the league. But Ryan, we don't know when he'll be back, so we had to change it up. So Keith just came out, Dipper goes inside, and I think it worked quite well.
Sligo next. That's a nice one.
You couldn't write it, especially after what happened last year.
We're going to have to.
Yeah, what happened last year, but I remember going down, and the first time I met Enda Stenson and Declan Bowen together, they kind of said to me, just have us in contention in the last round of the league, and we're there. We're in contention, but there's no point being in contention. I've been in many of All-Ireland final where we didn't finish it. It's time to go now. I don't think we've bet Sligo in a competitive game since 2011. So this is a huge game for both Sligo and Leitrim. So hopefully next week we show the same grit, same determination, and we go for it.
You've mentioned that they've had the Indian side over last year especially as well in that trio games, but how much is it mentally is this performance going to bring the guys on, especially when you think of the fact that I think Laois scored 6 on the bounce there, but we didn't fall off it, we kept it going, getting scores and bursts, key scores. Like probably the best one I thought we had to break it up was the fact that McNulty, James Rooney just on the field, they're both involved. They slip of the Jack Heston, he fires over, just dads straight on the field, first touch, contributing straight away. How much that kind of that didn't slip off it as much going on the stretch, how much is that going to maybe factor into the mentality now next weekend?
Absolute key. I think we went 4 points up here on Sligo last year in the Charlton Cup at one stage, and we let them go and they got that goal. Remember, they got the goal, I think just before David Brown tried to slip one to Donny Flynn, went wrong. They got a tap over point, brought them back into it. So just to have that kind of bit of experience, being in a kind of gritty, dirty, horrible kind of game, and to come out the right side of it is just massive. But can I just say one thing on that? The guys here in Porkshaw, the groundsmen, this pitch, lads, Wednesday, Thursday, did not like where it was going ahead, and the work they've done here has been absolutely amazing to get us here. And if it wasn't here today, who knows?
Andy, big call today with some of the changes in goals across the half-back line. Donal Rinn playing full forward. What was the inspiration behind that, just to bring a bit more physicality to the game?
We just had to. Nevin has done really well, lads, since he went back in. So what happened last year was Darren Maxwell got injured over in London and wasn't fit for the rest of the year, so we needed a substitute keeper. So we talked to Nevin, a good man off the tee, great vocals, all that sort of stuff. So we asked him would he give it a go, and he said yeah, and he worked really hard during the summer, all winter, worked hard, and the opportunity was there today because we knew Laois was going to put in a high presser, and he might have two or three more metres on the kick. So we went for it, and I think it worked quite well, and that was the big one, I think, wasn't it? It was the big one, and Donal Rinn in full forward mightn't have went to, I suppose, brilliantly in the second half, but it definitely worked in the first half. So there'll be something we'll be looking at, but it just takes a bit of pressure off Keith, takes a bit of pressure off Tom Pryor and them guys.
Adam Reynolds came in.
Could finish with 10 points now next week.
Who?
4 teams could be on 10 points at the end of play next week. That's if Leitrim beats Sligo. So what a conclusion that's going to be to this Division 4 campaign.
Yeah, it's amazing. Ben Brosnan's point last night, guys, for Wexford was huge. We just have to concentrate on ourselves. Like the physios have a huge job this week. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, back to training Wednesday. Luke Bree, who's the coach here, has a huge job to make sure that session is right. But like Division 4 is brilliant, lads. To be honest with you, it is brilliant. You knew it when you were talking to me down in Wicklow and Wexford. You knew that them results were big results. But this thing has a way of twisting. I remember the only national trophy I won from you was the National League in 2019, and we had our last game against Monaghan in the league, and James Horn played a dummy kind of team that day. We ended up beating Monaghan. Every other result went our way. We thought we were out of it, and we ended up winning the league title the week after. So the league has a way of throwing stuff up. So let's just concentrate on ourselves, do our own job, and let's see what's there at the end for us.
Andy, thanks.